Hey everybody, welcome back to Six Spirit Gaming. Today, finally back to Albion after a Dark Tide break. Today is all about making money. Different systems in Albion that let you do it. We're going to start with gathering. That's the reason I'm way out here. When you first start off with your gathering in Albion, okay, you don't gather fast and you don't gather a lot. So until you hit tier 8, you don't make any money gathering. That's 12,000. It's 10,000. So until you hit tier 8 gathering, you're nowhere near that 1 million per hour. Okay. But there is something kind of, I think, that's really important to do if you're going to get into gathering, and it's something that no one ever talks about on any, no one's ever talked about it. Which I guess I kind of understand why they don't want you to know, the secrets to it. But the trick with gathering is not just to gather, but also to refine. So the system there is actually pretty cool. So, for instance, if you wanted to, I craft axes, right? And I did that. I crafted my own axes, and I craft plate armors. And the reason that I did that was because I just wanted to be able to make my own axes. It's not anything more complicated than that. So I set myself up in Fort Sterling, because Fort Sterling is the metal, right? Thetford is where you take your metal to refine it, and then Fort Sterling has the bonus refining to wood, right? Also access to a hotspot. It's just really kind of far away. More on the hotspots later. So when we talk about making money in this game, you got to understand the pipeline. You gotta understand the pipeline of how stuff is made, put in the game, and the silver drops. The silver drops really suck in Albion, okay? The reason they suck so bad is because they want this number to stay high. This means that in order to play this game, make money in the game, and actually be able to afford premium, you'll have to spend about an hour every day just to make enough money to be able to afford that. The better option, however, is to purchase it when you're going to play, which is what I do. I'm an adult. I have a lot of stuff to do. And playing this game without premium is not worth it in any metric. If you do crystal arenas, you don't get it. You don't get all the reward bonuses. If you kill mobs, you don't get as much fame. If you mine resources, now I get a premium bonus, right? All the game's economy is based on a very heavy min-max system, very heavily min-max-esque. And the reason I wanted to do this is I just wanted to show you the difference between how fast you can gather some cheap stuff, some low-tier stuff, and then I'll show you the profit, how it changes when you refine it. It usually goes up. Now, the reason that I think a lot of YouTubers don't tell you this is because what they want you to gather it, but they don't want you to refine it. So you get a bunch of people gathering, trying to make $1 million through gathering prices. Then they come in and they buy those. They create sell orders, right, or buy orders, and they buy everything you just did. Then they refine it, and then they make that percentage increase. So I think that as a gatherer, you always refine your materials and then you sell them. Or craft with them. See how slow this is for a tier 3? So basically, you would do this, but the trick is to take a little bit of extra time, and travel out to whatever region, whatever you're gathering, gather at the hotspot. Okay. If they have static nodes. The reason for that is because you have, even if they're low tier and they're not completely filled, what ends up happening is you always have access to hitting something, so you don't spend any time running around like I'm running around right now looking for a resource to hit. Oh, here's one tree, great. What'll happen is at the tier 4 zones, there'll be trees everywhere. Let's run 10 seconds. Oh, there's a tier 2 tree. So this is the slow way of doing it. Don't do that. You won't level up as fast. Your gathering profession, like, you will not level it up nearly as fast as if you go to the hotspot and put gathering gear on. Now, I'm not wearing gathering gear because I usually don't wear gathering gear anymore. I'll explain why. Until I get tier 8. And there's a cool system that I use for that, and I can demonstrate it. I'll demonstrate it with how I gather metal, not wood. So let's go to any of the refining places. Dang, that was close. So I just gathered for a few minutes. Let me check the price. So it's 18,000. So that's 38,000. So there's 38,000 right there. Let us turn it. See what the total value difference is, because we get a lot more back, right? So basically I just made an extra 139, an extra 51, an extra 19, so on and so forth. So the planks here are now worth roughly the same for the tier 2, which is cool because when you do it with ore, you actually lose money. And now we do the tier 3. And we still get that same bonus. I don't recommend focus crafting or focus refining because there's better ways to do it. So my tier 3 planks are worth basically the same plus that. So I just made money taking the raw materials and turning them into something. Now that number looks it's not impressive, I know, but if you're going to gather, go ahead and refine it yourself too, because you make extra money when you refine it. And over the course of getting your refining to tier 8, you're going to make more and more and more and more and more money. Somebody bought it. Sweet. And the reason, so this is one thing, look at this. Somebody created a buy order for 96,000 when it's worth 5 times that. So no thank you on that. That'll be my wife's cape, I guess. So that is the gathering system that I would use to make money. Gather, refine, and think about what you want to gather and where you want to live to pay attention and bounce it around those refining bonuses, because I think it's pretty important. The second way to make money is not necessarily through sort it. Let me see what I have. So the second one is something to consider, which is, I don't see all these. These come from Crystal Arena matches. I'm going to show you how to use them to make money real fast. Make sure I don't have anything else. And you recycle your skin into that. You get these little arena token things. And then we take, so I can craft one of those. You take your sigils and you transmute them up into here. That's it. then with those sigils, because every time you do that, now they're worth more money. Okay. Ooh, apparently that's how you make the map things. Interesting. Okay, thank you. Now I understand how those work. Sweet. So that's how you get the maps for the hardcore expeditions. Awesome. That's why they're roughly worth so much. But you, over the course of a week, say, of doing crystal arenas, then you take them and you come down here. So I have, basically you transmute these up in tier. And you can get more and more and more once you get them to tier 8, however. Now it's worth more. So even just doing that, now I can, once you get them to tier 8, then you craft the expensive, super expensive boots. I don't have enough for it, but that's just one of the ways you can use Crystal Arena to make a bit of money. And then now we go to the island. It's the reason that I say you need, I play, like for me it's important where you live, because there's a lot of different systems for making money in Albion that are some passive and others not. I also do not like personally, I don't like waiting, just sitting and waiting and not doing anything in between the crystal arenas. So when I first started playing, the way that I made money every day, hit my million, before I used an island and spent the money to upgrade it, is I would just gather in between the arenas. I started with mass gathering, but then I gotta feed them. I started with just mass gathering. But now what I do is, please take it, I make potions as well. So when you're talking about your Albion economy, it's not always about making money. Sometimes it's about not spending it. And I make enough, forgot to feed them, great. I make enough money in potion making to pay for all my arena stuff, repair costs, everything else, but also I make all my own potions. That's important because I use a lot of potions. So by just literally having a whole island dedicated to making potions, it's a nice little chunk of change every day. It's kind of work, but if you're waiting for a crystal arena, I mean, it's pretty cake mode. Not to mention these earthworms you get every once in a while. I use those for fishing, but I don't really fish a lot in this game. I did on my first character, but just get all. As you can see, Crystal Arena sometimes take a little while, so you can get a lot done money-wise just by waiting or not waiting, so to speak. And this is the safe content, and then I'm not doing videos on Black Zone or Red Zone content anymore. The reason for that is because if you're not doing, if you try to go into like Red Zone territory, for instance, and you're not in a group or with a guild, you're not really gonna, your chances of success is a bit lower. Gathering in the dangerous zones also is stupid because your gathering bonus yields, if you're not in tier 8 with Avalonian tools and pork pie stuff, right, you are not going to be able to maintain, you're not competing when it comes to money, which is weird. But like, you can go into the Black Zone with tier 5. Let's say you go into the Black Zone with a tier 8 tool only, and maybe a tier 5 or tier 6, like miner jacket and outfit with a pie. Your bonuses to gathering is still only going to be like 50-60%. So you won't trigger your gathering bonus every single time. Well, that matters because this game, they have robots that mine resources. So the only way to gather for heavy profits is to focus on what you can gather relatively cheaply. Which focus though? For some reason, my queue time is ridiculous right now. I have not enough focus to replant everything. That's fine. So what we'll do is I'll take the... Oh, I still got another batch up here, I forgot. I'll take everything that I just gathered. And because I make stuff, I could even plant them without watering them and worrying about the focus, because it won't affect too much. This is the process for making potions. It gets more complicated. Tier 4 I think is the best for the cost. And then to make the I use 2 potions. I use resistance potions and I use tier 4 energy potions, and the resistance potion only needs 1 extra ingredient, which is a tier 5 whatever herb it is, which is cool because then if I ever want to make resistance potions or if I want to grow them, I just need to transfer 1 of these slots. Really good with the sword tree. 7 kills, most damage. Pretty normal. Goobly Moobly was pretty close on the damage and plate armor. Anyway, so boom. So I just did a Crystal Arena match. I had some fun fighting, and what did I make? I got a sigil, 20,000. I got one of these bad boys, 10,000 per stack. 30,000 silver. Boom. So I just made 30,000 for that one Crystal Arena, not to mention the 190,000 fame that I just got. So 190,000 fame is a lot more than what you think for one match, right? 190,000 fame is going out to any zone that the mobs drop 10,000 fame a kill and killing 190 of the mobs. So the fame rewards for Crystal Arena as you start the process of ranking up is pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy how much money or how much fame you can get in that, and it's actually one of the hidden kind of tricks you'll see a lot of people do. I'll look down here. So I have all of these from this week only, and I have not played very much. Not to mention these bad boys. All this good stuff, okay? So while we're waiting for our next match, I'm going to show you how much money I can make from just making 1 batch of potions. Which I don't know if I got enough milk. Let's go grab my milk too. And I have a bunch of potions already in the market, but like I said, I didn't. Sometimes it's not about making money. Sometimes it's about oh, that's all I got. Okay. Sometimes it's not about making money. Sometimes it's about not having to spend it. Those are 2 factors that are actually kind of important. For instance, I can go gather and craft a set of plate armor and a battle axe really quick. 10 minutes for the armor and everything else. So that's only 135. I think the milk is where I'm short. Yeah, I'm short on milk. Which is fine. Now that I'm back playing, I'll be focused a bit more on the min-maxing, but I'll craft my stuff up. Now I just made 175. That's almost, let's say 400,000 by the time you sell it. That's 400,000 that I don't have to spend now. Okay? So I just saved myself 400,000 in spending. So now I shall take you to the the hotspot where I gather in between arenas. With tier 8 gathering, no specials, just gathering. Just for that in between Crystal Arena profits. Because I have tier 8 tool gather so fast that it makes it worth it, no matter even if you're not using gathering gear. Not worth it necessarily, but in between Crystal Arenas, yeah. And especially when you just if you're just gonna quick sell something. So that's how I'll be able to get and that's how I use my island, and then eventually my mount system will produce money, because right now I'm not quite tier 6 mount crafting yet, but once I get tier 6 mount crafting, all I'll be doing is making dire wolves and moose and like moose. So that's all I'll be doing. So then that every week, that'll make me several, maybe 2 or 3 million a week, 2, 3, 4 million every week, literally just from having access to endlessly producing animals. And this is how fast you can get to the hotspot zone. And then once we get to the hotspot, we'll just see how quick it takes to... I use a system where it's 100,000 silver, not like a million. It's like, how fast can I make 100,000? Like, how fast can I make 10,000? And then how fast can I make 100,000? So I gauge this off of how much do I make per minute, not how much do I make per hour. Because to be totally honest, I'm not going to sit and do just one thing for that long. So while I'm waiting on my arena, it's just come up, and I don't gather for faction points, it's too slow. So I'm not going to look at it, we're just going to gather until the next arena, and we'll see how much money I made. And this is the same. Now this system is the same way that I use to level up gathering. Take all your stuff out there, get you an ox, and faction up for your arena, and gather. Even if you wanted to, you could put on your gathering gear in between, but everything here grows back so fast that there's always something to hit. So this is a mass gathering system for the tier 3, and tier 3 refined resources is basically your main system and your main trick. That's super important, because when... Just put it down, buddy, I got it. When you do this, what happens is your economy changes. And then what happens is you want to stock yourself up. For instance, if you're going to craft like ridiculous amounts of something to sell on the black market, you're going to need ridiculous amounts of tier 3. And tier 3 is actually worth just as much usually as tier 4. So 5-minute crystal arena. It also helps a lot because you don't have to worry about, oh, my crystal arena is taking too long. It doesn't matter. Gathered a long time in this little zone. This hotspot has two loops. The inner section, which is all basically going to be all tier 3 and tier 4, and the outer section, which is all tier 2 and tier 3, and a little bit of tier 4 on the very outside, kind of the elevated positions. But what I do is I use this one for the tier 3 is worth the most in terms of the quantity of it, and this is really the best way to get access to lots of tier 3 stuff. Even if you just came and gathered tier 3 only and skip tier 4, you'd totally be fine, but I refine everything, and that's where the profits for me are. As long as you have your gathering or as long as you have your premium bonus, you'll be okay. because the tier 3 and tier 4 stuff is heavily influenced by premium more so than anything else. I mean, it's alright, so I'll do it one more. I'll do it for 10 more seconds and we'll see the price. That's 2 or 3 minutes of gathering. Alright, now we check. So tier 2 is worth 6,000. Blah. But that is 34,000. So in 3 minutes I made almost 40,000 just in a tier 3. And that's not worth anything. One thing you can also do is split it by 1 and check the individual ore prices to see what the most valuable is. So this is see the gap increase. But in this same time, mining what was available, I only got 50 tier 4. Now these numbers skyrocket when you have gathering gear on and your food and all that stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, even just in between the arenas, man, if I ran 2 or 3 arenas and gathered in between, and just gathered like this, I can hit my million, my rough million, through the combination of just running Crystal Arena content. So while everybody else is out trying to make a million, I'm in doing the contents that I like. I just learned how to be busy enough to make money in between. I don't have gathering gear on, I just have a tier 8 Avalonian tool. And there's also something that's really, I don't know if it, maybe I'm just tripping, but the tier 8 Avalonian tools don't cost as much to repair as the cheaper tools. Maybe I'm tripping. That's the reason I was so hesitant to buy one. Well, that and the cost, almost 2 million for the tool. It was only 1.2 when I bought it, but I've sit here and watched the price go up on them. And that's the other thing too, is like when you make things, when you make items, if you're not, you need to, I guess that's another thing I can show y'all, is how to focus craft items to get tier 8 as fast as possible. Because the way that I look at this game is all the items of the game are useless except for either tier 4 or tier 8. Tier 5, 6, and 7 are just useless items. They're just filler items. It's useless to craft them. It's useless. It's better to just save up and then get access to tier 8. Or just just enchant up the ore for like tier 4, for instance. So have basically tier 4 or tier 8 and nothing else in between. Personally, that's how I look at it. Then we look, see what we have. Oh, fire staff. Perfect. Deleted. Oh, that last hit. Aww. Damn, nice dodge, you butthole. You grow your character, so the only person with any kills and 60,000 damage, so exactly what I wanted to play and how I wanted to do stuff. So now we've got our Crystal Arena quick game in. I've made about 50,000. I've made about 50,000 in gathering in about 3 minutes. And now we can go refine it and make a little bit more money. The cool part about refining is you can refine it even without using. But see, once you get here, it's hard because then I'm like, dang, look at that juicy section. That's like another 6,000 right there. So then you get here and you can, like, you just gather a lot. So 3 minutes. Yeah, about 50,000. So now you won't make that until you get to tier 8, obviously, but that's fine. Like, and also, like I said, those Avalonian tools, they don't cost very much to repair, which is my favorite part. So I saved myself all the potions, and I saved myself all the repair costs just from gathering. So then if I go do any other kind of content, that's where I start to make money. And also too, like if you 45 for the sell order. Sell these little ones cheap. So that's my 50,000 right there. And because I just, and it's a tiny difference. So that's 100 for Celerina, 100,000 pretty quick. And then I could sell the remainder, but I keep stocking up on my milk, my like all that stuff. I just save everything. And the last thing is the faction points. So I just put everything up, split this to about 20. Boom. So, oh, let me change my helmet too. Get my original build together. I did a video where I did faction warfare, literally only for it, like not long, dude, not very much faction warfare. One night we went out and we fought all the way back to Thetford. It was it was so much fun. We had a blast. But I made 50,000. So what I would like to see is I will buy 9,000 worth of this. Okay, how much is that? 140. I'll buy one of these. Okay, so this is going to be worth what? Not 140,000. So we buy the hearts, and let's go sell everything. So just buying the hearts like that seems to be the bang for the buck outside of the animals and expensive mounts and stuff. Right, so a lot of stuff I don't sell order. Alright, boom. So let's see, check on my running sales. That needs to hurry up and sell. It's been 3 days already, ain't sold yet. Bunch of burdock seeds. Because that's a big stack. Once that sells, I'll have a bunch of money. But this system, basically, not to mention the fact that you can just go ahead and, I hate to say it too, but the final piece of advice for players, especially new players, is there is nothing cheap. There is nothing more worth your time. There is nothing more worth your time, literally, than going up here, clicking one of these buttons, whichever one of them is this one. Nope. And buying gold. Like, there is nothing better than this. Just buy it. Maybe not $100 worth, but $5 worth? Shit. Cheap. Give yourself access to stuff like this and save yourself the time. 10 million for that staff. So gather for 10 hours or work for an hour. Work for an hour and then work for an hour and buy it. What was I looking at? Adventure challenge. What is this month? Oh, sweet. And just like that, just from playing the game, I got this. How much is this thing worth? Whoa. That is so cool. I'll take it. And I save all my books. I'm not using them yet. I'm gonna put that on my island somewhere. That's awesome. So all these different systems all come together and mesh together to make money. And I make this much money and I don't leave the safe zone. Because when I do leave the safe zone, I'm definitely not bringing that gear out. So I get smoked, ganked by 15 people. Maybe if I had a really good healer, I'd go do some 1v10s and shit, but I'm totally fine. I'm gonna put it right here. Or not. There's a good spot. Yeah, right here. That's so cool. Look at it. Yeah, so take your time, enjoy the game, enjoy the content options. Try to use Crystal Arena to your advantage. Here, let's heal one time. I'll show you the difference between Crystal Arena healing versus Crystal Arena. If you're a healer, Crystal Arena might be the best way to go. I'm dead serious about that. If you want to faction up and spec up through Crystal Arena, that is potentially probably the best way to do it. I don't think I have any pork food though. Grab some pork pie and I'll go heal a Crystal Arena real fast. I mean, and we'll heal a Crystal Arena. I'll show you the fame rewards and the silver reward. Well, not really. Not really the silver, because silver, like, it comes over time, but it's not what you don't bank on it. And you can lose. Like, you can lose every time as well. Party finder. Yeah, but I had to take a break from Albion to get my. Had to take me a little break from Albion for a minute. Just got kind of not burnt out, but I just didn't want to. I had a good system. I got my island built. Spent a lot of time gathering and making money and stuff. So I was stoked. And then now here we are, ready for my next. How much time left in the season? Try to hit Crystal. 30 days. I think I can do it if I grind hard, but I'll have to find some good players to link up with. Which I know a bunch of good players, but Dario got banned on Discord, so I can't even chat with him. I don't understand how people be getting banned on these platforms and stuff. E-Bob is really good. That was a big play. Might set us up for the win. Cap. Okay, fire staff capping, that's good. Oh, they win. Ooh, I don't know, man. He thought he had me. Nope. Thank you for the energy, sir. I'm so vulnerable right now, though. Hey, managed to come back. Good healing game. When it works, we get sigils. Get the same bag. We also get an extra 5. 25,000 extra fame. Not to mention, blindingly fast. Like, you don't have to wait. You're what everybody else is waiting on when you choose to heal. And you get access to... So this whole build... Well, no, because I did cloth armor. I did stuff when I was doing... the last thing is the benefits of having PvP content. You can do while you do safe stuff and have fun. Let's see. The nature tree, 100. I spec that out with stuff. The bow tree, I spec that out. Everything you see that I've spec'd out except for this build. And the soldier and my plate armor. Wait. Oh, down here, shit. These three, the soldier armor, or the soldier armor, soldier. The only thing I leveled up with killing mobs was crossbow, cleric robes, and the basic crossbow build that I use. Everything else, once I started using crafting plate, swords, mace, holy, fire, all this, boots, like everything that I've spec'd out to 100, I do that. Literally, I only do that with the fame stuff that I get from Crystal Arena. That's it. I'll get everything to 100 something spec, and then I move on. That's the reason I have 100 spec with, or not 100 spec. And my other rule is that I won't buy 8.3 until I have 100 spec. So like right now, I don't have this 100 spec yet from using it or whatever. So I won't buy 8.3. Same thing with the bows, whatever. And that system basically keeps me good. And just slowly, just over time, just start building. My Crystal Arena builds up different variants. So that's 7,000 fame, no silver, which is weird. Anyways, these little camps are actually worth kind of a lot of money in a cool way. Yeah, I don't know why you would fight me. You can't beat me. Get your ass back over here, pussy boy. The one on you. Perfect. The fame's not bad. The hell? 2 fame tones? Bro, what? Whatever, that's fine. So now the question is, I said that asshole again. Why can't I fight him? What the hell? Whatever. Alright, well that is the reason I don't do a lot of the content that they want you to do, because making money and doing what they say is different. You'll make more money just gathering than you will usually do in those, unless you're grouped up. So that seems to be the system right now they have for Albion, is do grouped up content, make less money, which I'm totally down for. I think the limitations of solo, like players shouldn't have access to the biggest stuff in the game in terms of profits. They need to be consistent and linear profits, but they don't need to be the biggest profits in the game. See the fame rewards there, that's 5,000 or 8,000 fame just for that.